Psychological research has long suggested that men who placed less importance on societal approval often experienced lower stress levels and a stronger sense of personal freedom. This insight offers a compelling glimpse into the mindset of a Sigma male, a distinctive and enigmatic archetype of man who neither seeks validation nor conforms to the traditional social hierarchies of alpha or beta roles. Unlike the dominant, attention-seeking alpha who thrives on leadership and status, or the more accommodating beta who finds comfort in following established norms, the Sigma male operates independently, guided solely by his own principles and logic. His ability to detach from external expectations grants him an air of quiet confidence and uncheckable composure. However, this detachment also comes with its own set of challenges. His unwillingness to engage in superficial interactions, tolerate manipulation, or conform to societal pressures often makes him an enigma, misunderstood, feared, or even resented by those who fail to grasp his lone wolf mentality. So, what drives Sigma males to disengage from the world around them? In this video, I'll be breaking down the 10 key reasons why Sigma males stop caring and why this shift is often a deliberate and necessary choice. Number 1. They recognize the pointlessness of arguing. Sigma males possess a sharp intellect and a strong ability to analyze situations logically. While they are more than capable of forming well-reasoned arguments, they quickly realize that most debates are not about uncovering the truth but about feeding egos. Many people argue not to learn or grow but to assert dominance, seek validation, or impose their beliefs onto others. For a Sigma, this is a colossal waste of time. At first, a Sigma male may attempt to engage in discussions, especially if he believes a productive outcome is possible. However, he soon notices patterns: people who refuse to listen, individuals who argue in bad faith, and discussions that spiral into emotional outbursts rather than logical conclusions. He recognizes that in many cases, arguing is an exercise in futility. No amount of reason, evidence, or patience will convince someone who is more interested in winning than understanding. As a result, he begins to withdraw from unnecessary debates altogether. He stops correcting misinformation, refuses to engage in office politics, and avoids conversations that revolve around trivial social dramas. Whether it's an online debate, a workplace disagreement, or a family argument, he simply disengages. His silence is not a sign of ignorance or indifference, it's a deliberate choice to conserve his energy for matters that truly matter. Over time, this approach extends beyond just arguments. Sigma males stop seeking external validation through debate, no longer feeling the need to prove themselves to others. They don't chase recognition for their intelligence, nor do they waste effort trying to change the minds of those who refuse to see reason. Their mindset shifts from "let me convince you to believe what you want, it's not my concern." This level of detachment gives Sigma males an air of calm indifference. They refuse to be drawn into petty conflicts, knowing that most arguments are just distractions. While others expend energy defending their opinions, the Sigma male moves on, unbothered, focusing his time and efforts on things that actually contribute to his growth, success, and personal peace. Number 2. They master the art of emotional detachment. Sigma males are naturally introspective, spending a great deal of time analyzing not just their surroundings but also their own emotions. Unlike those who allow feelings to dictate their actions, Sigmas strive for emotional discipline, believing that unchecked emotions can lead to poor decision-making and unnecessary vulnerability. Early in life, they may have experienced moments where their emotions, whether love, trust, anger, or excitement, were used against them. Perhaps they opened up to someone who later betrayed them, or maybe they invested time and energy into relationships or situations that only left them drained. Each of these experiences reinforces the idea that emotions, while natural, can also be a liability. Rather than allowing themselves to be at the mercy of feelings, Sigma males train themselves to suppress emotional impulses, much like a soldier sharpening his mental resilience before battle. They develop an almost surgical ability to detach, observing their emotions without acting on them, controlling their reactions rather than being controlled by them. Over time, this practice evolves into a complete emotional shutdown, where feelings become secondary to logic, reason, and personal discipline. This transformation is often misunderstood by others. To the outside world, a Sigma male's emotional detachment may appear cold or unfeeling, but in his mind, it is simply a form of self-preservation. He sees no benefit in emotional outbursts, irrational attachments, or being swayed by fleeting sentiments. Instead, he values clarity, stability, and an unwavering sense of purpose. Once a Sigma male reaches this state of detachment, reigniting his emotional investment becomes nearly impossible. He no longer reacts to emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping, or societal pressure. Whether it's a toxic relationship, an unnecessary argument, or a situation designed to provoke him, he remains unmoved. His ability to remain indifferent is not an absence of feeling but a mastery of an intentional choice to prioritize logic over emotional distractions that serve no meaningful purpose. Number 3. They've been burned by repeated betrayals. Although Sigma males are naturally independent, they are not completely closed off. When they choose to let someone into their inner circle, it's a rare privilege, one built on deep trust and mutual respect. Unlike those who form casual connections based on convenience or social obligation, a Sigma male expects honesty, loyalty, and integrity in his relationships. Unfortunately, life often proves that such expectations are rarely met. Time and again, they encounter deception, lies that erode trust, broken promises that leave them questioning people's sincerity, and manipulative tactics designed to take advantage of their self-sufficiency. At first, they may give second chances, assuming that not everyone is intentionally deceitful. However, repeated betrayals reinforce a harsh and inescapable truth. Trusting others comes with a cost, and that cost is often irreparable damage. For a Sigma male, betrayal is not just about being let down, it's about the violation of an unspoken code. They operate on logic, reason, and personal principles. When they extend their trust, it's because they see genuine value in a person. But once that trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to restore. They don't engage in petty revenge or dramatic confrontations. Instead, they simply disconnect. After enough disappointments, a Sigma male undergoes a mental shift. He no longer sees emotional investment as worthwhile. Instead of hoping people will change, he chooses detachment. He stops caring not out of bitterness, but as a calculated act of self-protection. If no one proves trustworthy, why waste time hoping they will? This shift is often misinterpreted by others as cold-heartedness, but in reality, it's the logical conclusion of too many letdowns. Rather than risking more emotional damage, the Sigma male turns inward, prioritizing his own peace of mind over relationships that have proven unreliable. Number 4. They spot too much superficiality. Sigma males approach social interactions with an open but observant mindset. Unlike those who eagerly seek validation or engage in performative friendships, they take time to assess whether the people around them have any real depth. They don't rush to judge but instead analyze social circles, workplaces, and even close friendships to determine if there's a foundation of authenticity. However, time and again, they find themselves surrounded by trivial concerns, endless gossip, petty rivalries, and conversations that never venture beyond the surface. They notice how many people prioritize meaningless competition, obsess over social status, or engage in mindless small talk just to fill silence. To a Sigma, these interactions feel empty, lacking any intellectual stimulation, personal growth, or genuine connection. At first, they may tolerate it, giving people the benefit of the doubt. But as the cycle of superficiality continues, they become increasingly disillusioned. They realize that much of what people claim to value is performative relationships built on convenience, not loyalty. Conversations filled with scripted pleasantries rather than raw honesty. This realization drains them mentally and emotionally, making it difficult for them to engage. Eventually, their patience runs out. They withdraw, not because they harbor resentment, but because they refuse to waste energy on relationships and environments that lack depth. Their decision to stop caring is not an act of arrogance but a necessary form of self-preservation. They would rather be alone than endure the frustration of watching people mindlessly chase empty validation. Number 5. They reject mainstream measures of success. Modern society conditions people to chase after predefined markers of success: climbing the corporate ladder, owning expensive cars, maintaining a large social media following, or flaunting material wealth. These external symbols of achievement are often portrayed as the ultimate goals in life, used as benchmarks to measure a person's worth. However, Sigma males see these pursuits for what they really are: hollow, socially manufactured illusions that rarely bring genuine fulfillment. Unlike the alpha male, who thrives on dominance and external validation, or the beta male, who seeks approval through conformity, the Sigma male is entirely uninterested in these conventional success metrics. He has no desire to compete for status, chase promotions just for a bigger paycheck, or impress others with a flashy lifestyle. To him, success isn't about public recognition, it's about internal satisfaction. Because of this, he gradually detaches from society's expectations, refusing to be pressured into following a path that doesn't resonate with him. While others measure their accomplishments based on salary figures, popularity, or societal praise, the Sigma male defines success on his own terms. He sets deeply personal milestones, often centered around intellectual growth, freedom, mastery of skills, and self-reliance. This mindset eventually leads to broader apathy. If he doesn't value traditional success, then why should he care about the judgment, criticism, or praise that comes with it? The opinions of others become irrelevant to him, as he sees no reason to measure his life by someone else's standards. Whether he is seen as ambitious or unmotivated, successful or an outsider, it makes no difference. He knows that mainstream approval is fleeting and ultimately meaningless. Over time, this rejection of traditional achievement makes the Sigma male increasingly indifferent to societal noise. He tunes out the pressure to conform, ignores the superficial markers of status, and instead dedicates his time to what truly fulfills him. His focus shifts entirely inward, making him immune to the constant comparisons and expectations that keep others trapped in a cycle of endless striving. For him, success isn't something to be showcased, it's something to be lived. And because of this, he stops caring about external validation altogether. Number 6. They believe in logical exits over forced fixes. Most people are conditioned to believe that relationships, whether personal, professional, or social, should always be worked on rather than abandoned. Society encourages fixing problems, compromising, and holding on, even when things are clearly beyond repair. However, Sigma males take a radically different approach. They believe that not everything is meant to be fixed, and sometimes, the most logical solution is to walk away. If a relationship becomes toxic, a business partnership turns one-sided, or a social environment stops serving any real purpose, the Sigma male won't cling to the hope of change. Unlike those who prolong their suffering by making endless compromises or holding onto false optimism, he evaluates situations through a purely rational lens. If the core foundation is flawed or the energy investment outweighs the reward, he sees no reason to keep pouring effort into something that will never truly align with his principles. This mindset applies to friendships, jobs, romantic relationships, and even societal expectations. The Sigma male is not afraid to cut ties without hesitation, regardless of the emotional weight involved. He doesn't indulge in drawn-out debates, second-guess his decisions, or wonder whether others will be hurt by his departure. Instead, once he recognizes that a situation is no longer serving his personal growth or mental well-being, he executes a clean exit. No drama, no unnecessary explanations, just a quiet, calculated departure. To the outside world, this ability to detach so easily can seem cold or even ruthless. Others may view his indifference as a lack of empathy, but from the Sigma male's perspective, it's a necessary survival tactic. Lingering in a dysfunctional environment, whether it's a failing relationship, an unfulfilling job, or a social group that drains his energy, only wastes his time and potential. For him, the decision to stop caring is not an emotional reaction but a strategic choice. He simply refuses to invest in something that no longer holds value. The moment he determines that an exit is the most logical course of action, he disengages completely, redirecting his focus toward pursuits that truly matter to him. And once he leaves, he rarely looks back. Number 7. They get exhausted by constant demands. One of the paradoxes of being a Sigma male is that, despite their preference for solitude, they are often the ones people turn to in times of crisis. Their calm, logical nature makes them excellent problem solvers, and their ability to remain composed under pressure attracts those who seek guidance or assistance. At first, Sigma males may be willing to help, believing that their knowledge and support can genuinely benefit others. However, they soon realize that their reliability becomes a double-edged sword. Because they do not seek attention or validation, people assume they have limitless patience and endurance. Friends unload their emotional baggage, colleagues shift responsibilities onto them, and even acquaintances expect them to offer solutions without reciprocation. While the Sigma male initially handles these demands with quiet efficiency, he begins to notice a pattern: people continuously taking from him without giving anything in return. He realizes that he is being used not necessarily out of malice, but because his competence and self-reliance make him an easy target for those who struggle to manage their own problems. Eventually, this realization triggers a breaking point. Sigma males do not express their frustration through emotional outbursts or dramatic confrontations. Instead, they withdraw often silently and without explanation. The same people who once relied on them suddenly find themselves met with indifference. Calls go unanswered, favors are refused, and social engagements are ignored. This sudden disengagement leaves others baffled, as Sigma males rarely offer a warning before pulling away. They simply stop caring. Once they recognize that their time and energy have been exploited, they refuse to waste another moment on people who do not respect their boundaries. This withdrawal is not about revenge or resentment, it's about self-preservation. Sigma males understand that constantly catering to others depletes their mental and emotional resources. Rather than allowing themselves to be drained by endless demands, they reclaim their energy, prioritizing their own well-being over the expectations of those who took their presence for granted. Number 8. They adapt to solitude better than most. Most people rely on social connections to maintain a sense of purpose, emotional stability, and motivation. They form alliances, seek out companionship, and engage in group activities to feel a sense of belonging. However, Sigma males take a completely different approach. From an early age, they recognize that solitude is not something to be feared but something to be mastered. While many struggle with loneliness, Sigma males embrace it as an opportunity for self-improvement. Instead of depending on external validation or emotional support, they focus inward, developing skills, refining their intellect, and strengthening their mental resilience. They view alone time as an advantage rather than a deficiency, allowing them to operate independently without the distractions and complications of social entanglements. At first, they may engage in social interactions out of habit or curiosity, but over time, they begin to see that most social connections come with unnecessary drama, expectations, and obligations. They realize that shared victories and camaraderie, while enjoyable, are not essential for their happiness or success. The more they immerse themselves in solitude, the more they recognize their own self-sufficiency. This self-sufficiency leads to a fundamental shift in how they perceive social engagement. At first, they see it as optional, a tool that can be used when necessary, but not something they actively seek out. Eventually, this optionality turns into irrelevance, and that irrelevance transforms into complete indifference. They no longer feel the need to maintain social bonds out of obligation or habit. If a conversation isn't meaningful, if a relationship isn't adding value, or if a social gathering feels forced, they simply don't engage. Unlike others who crave companionship to fill an emotional void, Sigma males find peace in their own company. They do not feel the need to explain their solitude, nor do they seek approval for their lifestyle. Their independence becomes their greatest strength, allowing them to navigate life on their own terms, unaffected by societal pressures or the expectations of others. Number 9. They protect themselves from emotional chaos by walking away. A Sigma male's number one priority is maintaining inner peace. He values a calm, uncluttered mind above all else, and he will go to great lengths to protect it. Unlike those who thrive on constant drama, gossip, or emotional turbulence, he sees no appeal in unnecessary conflict. The moment he senses that a situation or relationship is dragging him into chaos, he disengages. This emotional self-preservation is a defining trait of the Sigma male. While others might get tangled in friendship, betrayals, workplace politics, or romantic drama, he recognizes the toll that emotional instability can take. He sees people around him caught in endless cycles of toxic relationships, petty rivalries, and reactive decision-making, and he refuses to participate. Over time, this leads him to establish strong emotional boundaries. He becomes highly selective about who he allows into his life, keeping a tight circle of people who align with his mindset. If someone continuously disrupts his peace, whether through manipulation, excessive neediness, or emotional volatility, he doesn't argue, plead, or try to fix things. He simply walks away. And once he walks away, there's no turning back. No amount of pleading, guilt-tripping, or emotional outbursts can shake his resolve. Others may perceive this as cold or unfeeling, but for him, it's a necessary safeguard against stress and distractions. He knows that his time and energy are limited, and he refuses to waste them on situations that drain him. For the Sigma male, emotional chaos is an unnecessary burden, one that he has no interest in carrying. By removing himself from toxic environments and maintaining strict boundaries, he ensures that his mind remains clear, his emotions remain stable, and his focus remains on the things that truly matter to him. Number 10. They observe how easily people are manipulated. Sigma males are highly observant and analytical, always scanning their surroundings with a critical eye. This heightened awareness allows them to pick up on patterns of behavior that most people overlook, especially the ways in which individuals and entire groups can be subtly manipulated. They notice the emotional guilt trips, the carefully crafted social pressures, and the subtle ways in which people are influenced to think, act, or conform without even realizing it. Whether it's mass media shaping public opinions, corporate tactics pressuring employees, or social groups dictating what's acceptable, Sigma males see through the illusion. They recognize how easily people allow external forces to dictate their decisions, sometimes even at the cost of their own well-being. They watch as individuals make irrational choices simply because of peer pressure, blindly follow trends without question, or allow manipulative figures to exploit their emotions. At first, this realization might irritate or even concern them. They may attempt to reason with people, offer alternative perspectives, or expose the flaws in mainstream thinking. However, over time, they come to a harsh conclusion: most people don't actually want to be freed from their conditioning. They would rather remain comfortable in their programmed beliefs than question the system and carve out their own independent path. This realization breeds a deep sense of detachment. Instead of wasting energy trying to wake people up or fight against the tide, the Sigma male simply removes himself from the equation. He stops caring about how society operates, recognizing that trying to change it is a battle not worth fighting. His disillusionment transforms into silent indifference, and rather than getting frustrated, he shifts his focus to what he can control: his own path, goals, and personal growth. For him, it's not about being cynical or pessimistic. It's about accepting reality for what it is. If the majority of people choose to be manipulated, there's no point in interfering. Instead, he stays one step ahead, guarding his independence and refusing to be part of the herd. Conclusion. When a Sigma male decides he doesn't care anymore, it's not just a passing mood, it's a complete transformation in how he interacts with people and the world. From recognizing society's superficial norms to experiencing betrayal and constant demands, he ultimately concludes that emotional investment isn't worth the cost. While outsiders may perceive this as coldness, to the Sigma, it's a calculated retreat from systems he finds draining and inauthentic. If you found this video insightful or relatable, why not join our growing community? Subscribe to the channel for more content exploring the mindsets, traits, and behaviors of Sigma males. Your engagement helps us dive deeper into these unique perspectives. Be sure to like this video if it resonated with you, share it with someone who might appreciate it, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Remember, as a Sigma male or someone inspired by their path, staying true to yourself is the ultimate strength. Keep evolving, stay strong, and we'll see you in the next video.